The Old Testament finds expression in the New? In this video, we will explore this question. First, by conversationally reading John chapter 3, verses 22 through 36, and then touching on two things that not only give expression to a teaching found in Psalm 1, the Old Testament, but it also gives a living illustration of it. So buckle up. Here we go. My name is Charles Yerkes, and this is the Simple, Not Shallow YouTube channel. And the purpose of this channel is to bring you digestible, compelling, and conversational insights from the Bible so that you too can develop a vital relationship with God by learning how to love simply, wisely, and well. For that is where excitement and meaning in life dwell. So, the Old Testament, teaching both found in expression and illustration in the New Testament. Well, let's begin by reading John chapter 3, verses 22 through 36 from the World English Bible. Now after these things, Jesus came with his disciples into the land of Judea. He stayed there with them and baptized. Now John was also baptizing in Enon, near Salim, because there was much water there. Now they came and were baptized, for John was not yet thrown into prison. Therefore a dispute arose on the part of John's disciples with some of the Jews about purification. They came to John and said to him, "Rabbi, he who was with you beyond the Jordan, to whom you have testified, well, behold, he baptizes, and everyone is coming to him." And John answered, "A man can receive nothing unless it has been given to him from heaven. Well, you yourselves testify that I said I am not the Christ, but that I have been sent before him. He who has the bride is the bridegroom. But a friend of the bridegroom who stands and hears him rejoices greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. And this, my joy, therefore is made full. He must increase, but I must decrease. He who comes from above is above all. He who is from the earth belongs to the earth and speaks of the earth. He who comes from heaven is above all. What he has seen and heard, of that he testifies, and no one receives his witness. Well, he who has received his witness has set his seal to this, that God is true. For he whom God has sent speaks the words of God. For God gives the Spirit without measure. The Father loves the Son and has given all things into his hand. The one who believes in the Son has eternal life. But one who disobeys the Son won't see life, but the wrath of God remains upon him." And that was John chapter 3, verses 22 through 26. Now the first thing that leaps off the page at me is that people have always been people. When things do not go exactly as they expect, they complain. See here, Jesus' ministry is just starting to take off. And John's disciples are getting upset that he is now getting all of the crowds and that less and less people are now coming to listen to John. It was this, combined with John's response, that brought to mind Psalm 1. See, in Psalm 1, we are told about the way to happiness, the way of the righteous, the way that considers the advice of God. And here we see examples of both, those standing on the way that misses the mark and of one standing on the way that considers God. And yes, I'll link to the video on Psalm 1 in the description box below. See here, John's disciples were only focused on the numbers. the numbers of people going to hear Jesus versus the number of those now coming to hear John. They were not focused on Jesus. They were not focusing on God. They were missing the mark. John, on the other hand, stood on the way that found its mark. He was focused on Jesus. Now, I do find it interesting that here, well before Jesus tells his disciples that he calls them friends, in John chapter 15, verse 15, well before that, John is talking about himself as a friend of Jesus. A friend of the bridegroom that is overjoyed to be listening to that bridegroom. Well, he says it. This, my joy, therefore is made full. His joy was made full even as his ministry was waning. His joy was full, for Jesus's was increasing, even as he, John, was on the decrease. See, John did not place his success, his popularity, his appeal to the masses, his anything before his love for Jesus. See, this is a perfect illustration of the one who muses upon God day and night. What graciousness! What humility! What honesty! All of which are very fine illustrations of the man standing on the way that considers the advice of God, on the way that hits the mark. So, yes, the Old Testament does find illustrations in the New. Here, it is in the teaching of Psalm 1 that is being lived out by the one who prepared the way for Jesus. Well, can you think of any other examples in the New Testament of the Old Testament teaching being lived out? Well, let me know what you come up with in the comments section below. I can't wait to hear what you think. Thank you. Also, if you like this video, please take the time to click that like and subscribe button. And after clicking the subscribe button, when that little gray bell icon pops up, make sure you click on that as well, as this will let YouTube know that you want to be notified each and every time a new video is posted. And currently, one discussing John will be posted every Tuesday, and one discussing a psalm will be posted every Thursday. And also, this is rather exciting, I'm starting a new set of videos, ones where I simply take the reading of the passage and post it with no additional commentary. The reading on John will be posted on Wednesdays. The reading of the Psalms will be posted on Fridays. I hope you enjoy. And until next time, love simply, love wisely, and love well. For that is where excitement and meaning in life dwell.